When you're building a Medspa in 2025 or any other personal skill in 2026 as well, there is no shortage of content that you can consume. In fact, the challenge is sifting through all that noise to find the stuff that's relevant and applicable and useful to you. In noise, there is gold. And when you find that gold, that is worth consuming over and over again. One personality that I discovered recently, an influencer in the Medspa space, is Terry Ross from Terry Ross Consulting. And for the last 5 months, I have been devouring, obsessing over her stuff, in particular her sales frameworks and objections handling methodology. This is the stuff that we've now taught to over 100 med spas, and the ones that scaled and added 20, 30, 50k in new revenue are the ones that take this very seriously. They enjoy nerding over objections and taking them as challenges to overcome, not in a way where it's you versus me, let me sell to you in a pushy tactic kind of way, but in a way where you realize that your customers are ultimately there to achieve a dream, desired outcome, try to solve a problem that they may have struggled with for months, if not years before. They're spinning in circles, they're spinning their wheels, they're not getting anywhere. And the reason for that is that they have some limiting beliefs. Those limiting beliefs are basically the objections that have to be overcome. Now, Terry has utilized this stuff herself in her practice. She's very much alive and active right now on YouTube. You can find her stuff there. You can find her on Spotify. And she's used it to scale hundreds, if not thousands, of med spas indirectly. So this stuff works. This stuff is proven. This stuff addresses objections such as time constraints and delays, such as I need to think about it, foils, decoys, I need to speak to my spouse, I need to think about it, as well as money, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, how many sessions do I need, and all kinds of other objections in between. It's a whole spectrum. We're going to be covering it. In this particular video, I'm going to give you an overview, and then we're going to make a series of videos breaking down every single one of them. Now, this video is so in-depth because I hadn't realized the profundity of the things that Terry has been saying in this one podcast episode that I'm going to be digesting for you until I sat down, pen to paper. Well, it wasn't pen to paper. It was more like my fingers on the notebook, on my MacBook, and really try to soak it all up. There is a level of energy and rhetoric that I want you to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, which is why I'm going to be sharing my screen, playing those snippets and have you hear them. Now, if you've heard of Terry, then this is just a reminder. Oftentimes we don't need to be taught, we need to be reminded. And if you haven't, well, consider this your introduction. And the way I intend to add value to this is to layer frameworks and explanations as to why what she says is powerful. Because a lot of times to hear is one thing, but to listen and to tune in is a new level. And some of this stuff can be missed out if you don't know what to focus on, if you don't know what to listen for. Now, I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in selling for our agency as well over the last 3 years. And this is from heavyweights such as Cole Gordon, Jeremy Miner, other heavyweights from the sales industry. And this stuff works. And so with that being said, let's share my screen. Let's dive into why this is useful, and let's get you added some of that juicy average order value, increase your value on customers, your retention as well, in a way where you're serving your customers and it's mutually beneficial. Ultimately, we're seeking win-wins here. Okay, so let's dive right in. Okay, we're in, and there's no better place to start than in the price is what you pay, value is what you get mindset shift. The best analogy that I can make here is, imagine if you're into cars, imagine someone brought a Lamborghini to your doorstep and they said, hey, here's the keys to this Lambo, it's outside, you just got to pay me 10 grand for it, okay? And let's say you're on your last time, you do not have that money. Question, knowing the value of a Lambo, would you go and make it possible to find that money and actually make it happen? I would say that you would. And the reason for that is that you see the value. So price is what you pay, value is what you get. We all have brands that we're willing to spend for. And so your clients with your Medspa services, that's no different. If they like the services, they're going to pay for them. If they see the value, they're going to pay for it. And that brings us into the main objection, which is price and budget. They're two different things. So just a little sneak peek, whenever someone says it's too expensive, just so I don't keep you guessing, guess what you're going to say. Totally understand, I acknowledge. And so is this a question of price, or is it more that you're not seeing the value of the service? Okay, there's many ways to say that in a way that feels comfortable to you, but this is what it comes down to. Priority, no means not now, not right now. And then of course there's many other common objections. Talking to the spouse, need to think about it, downtime, pain, discomfort, etc., etc. Now ultimately,
just to reiterate, conversions do increase by 30 to 60% just by fixing upselling. And so if you knew your conversion rate is now below 70%, just calculate the impact that this would have on your bottom line. Alrighty, so objections. Objections are not something that clients just give you because they want to be difficult. They come from not getting enough info, from not being asked the right questions, and not perceiving the value. And so if you got the patients to uncover how they really feel, so you get a client to get to the deeper layer motives. A lot of times they'll say, you'll ask them, why did you choose to come in for a special new patient intro offer today? And they'll say, oh, because the price is affordable, or because it's a good deal. And you can always dig deeper. Yes, completely understand. This is one of our best price of the year. And so money aside, what's the challenge? What are you looking to achieve? What's not working in your life at the level that it could, or at the level that you feel that it should? And that's when you get to the gold, when they start saying things like, I feel fat, I'm single, I'm divorced, I don't like the way I look in the mirror, my friends are dating, I'm not getting swiped on dating apps, I don't feel comfortable in my skin anymore, I don't like how my clothes fit. That is the stuff that you want to get to, because when it comes to them getting the treatment, being pitched a solution, no one's going to object to that. No one can object to their deeply seated motives, because what are they going to say? I'm okay, I just want to stay fat. And so do you see how this is essentially getting people to convince, well, not to convince themselves, but rather to reach the agreement and the conclusion that this is ultimately something that's beneficial for them. And so there is a framework. There's guesswork, hard work, framework. That's what Terry likes to say it. If your team is struggling with this, then of course you want to pay attention to this. How do you prevent objections? What do your patient journey and consultation looks like? So a lot of this stuff is actually preempted with a bit of homework. There's a lot of tools here that we started implementing, such as the cosmetic interest questionnaire, the treatment plan, the skincare regimen, before and after of big pictures of similar people like them, charting, scribing, using AI, and ultimately the underlying philosophies that you really want to get to know them with all the tools that you have available. So these are tools, and this is essentially your mission, is what you're doing there. You are taking a comprehensive approach so that you can approach and understand their needs and build a treatment plan that's going to allow them to look and feel better. This is what we say all the time. This is a prescriptive based consultation where you're giving them something that they need. It's like you're going to the doctor. If you say, I've got a pain, and then the doctor's like, here you go, pop these pills, you're not going to take them, right? Why? Because you feel like, what is this? You haven't even asked me what hurts. The clients for Medspa services are no different. And that's why consultation plays a crucial role. Of course, you can use these tools to nudge and stimulate conversations in directions you really want to take it to. So there are questions, and there's a sequence of questions to ask in order to begin the discovery process. But the first step would be to acknowledge what they're in for, what they said that they're in for. I see you here today to talk about this and that. What I'd like to do is get to know you in the next 30, 40 minutes. You set the expectation, which means you create a frame. And in that frame, essentially, you basically become space for listening for patients to start expressing their pain points, their needs. With enough listening, with enough space created, they're going to give themselves what they need to hear. It's not so much for you to hear it, because you've probably heard it 100 times. And if you haven't yet, you will have. Months or years down the line, you will have heard these things hundreds and thousands of times. And it's crucial to shut up and listen. I started therapy very recently, by the way, for the manyth time. It's something I do regularly just to kind of give a refresh on my operating system. And I was so, well, not disappointed. Few things disappoint me anymore in life, but I was just so surprised and taken aback that a health professional who's supposed to be there and create space for listening was constantly interjecting and talking over me, to the point where I would literally just let her take the space and just like talk. And there's no rapport built, there's no connection. She doesn't know anything about me. I know more about her than she knows about me. So don't be that person, because if you are, then it's not gonna be a surprise that people are not buying from you. And so always have stories, and in your back pocket, always have analogies and allegories. So if Susan comes in and she's a mom of two and she weighs 50 pounds overweight and she wants to lose a couple of inches and fit in a certain dress, you can always go back to, Michelle, who came in a couple of months back, and she's now finally fitting in her old genes from when she was in her 20s, and she's back on the dating apps, or she's joining a dance club in her community and she's living the life, right? You're future pacing what this client in front of you now wants. We do the same thing. I mean, look, we have added almost 20 to 120K in new revenue for Medspas in 20 something states. We have so many case studies that we can share with you guys. And it's the same reason, because we want to show you that this is proven and now the proof's in the pudding. Okay. Ultimately, no matter what services you have, what machines, that's not what's going to differentiate. It's your ability to take time, get emotional, transformational, not transactional, and learn how to communicate effectively. Super important. And I know it's hard even in everyday life, but this is what we have models for. Terry's is layer, listen, acknowledge, explore, respond. Alex Hormoz's is closer. They're the same thing. You begin by clarifying what the problem is. You listen and label. That's the L. Then O is overview their past attempts to solve the problem. So you are overweight, you've tried dieting, exercise, life got in the way, you started pulling some overhead at work, over time at work, got off the bandwagon, stopped dieting, all the weight came back on. Okay, got it, understood. Then you sell the destination, you future-paced the end outcome. All right, cool. So medical grade equipment here, cavitation, cryo, T-shape, T-shock, lymphatic drainage, red light therapy, you name it. This is the way it works. It's permanent. It destroys the fat. It doesn't shrink it so that it's eliminated. It's permanently gone, unlike dieting and exercise. Does that make sense? Then you get to the respond, which is E, explain away the concerns. So this is where you also want to tie them down. Does this make sense? How does it sound? Is this pretty much what you're looking for? And after that, you close. You close and then you reassure at the end. So that's what that says roughly. And then of course we can dive into the objections as opportunities. Price is the objection that you're going to hear probably most of the times. It's not always a logistical thing. Sometimes it can be, which is why I think it's important to expect that sometimes you're going to have options for like down payments, for downselling, for appointment wise, so that you can take them as they go. Let's have a look at how this looks. All right, cool. So they say, God, this looks so expensive. Absolutely, completely understand, acknowledge and validate. It is an investment. That's how you reframe it. But what I heard you say is that you wanted to fit in your dress, get back to dating, to the dating scene, etc., etc. So is it the price, or are you not seeing the value in getting this treatment plan? Cool. And now we're talking budget. If you ask it that way, then they're going to say, no, it's just the money. Okay, cool. And then you can tie down. So aside from money, is there anything that would stop you from moving forward with us today? It's just the money. Great. Now we can discuss budget. What if you need to then future pace, go into the future? All right, well, let me ask you something else. What happens if we do nothing? What would hold you back? If we don't do anything now, how will you feel in 6 months from now? What this does is it creates personal urgency. Without personal urgency, the thing that's always going to happen, more often than not, is they're going to stall. They're going to procrastinate. That's what people do. People don't pull the trigger on making decisions until they hit rock bottom. Another way to attack this is by asking someone, how long has this been a problem for you? How long have you tried to solve this? Okay, cool. So 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Amazing. Congrats for not giving up. Many people would have by now. And so what keeps you going? And why is it that now you want to finally handle it? Oh, it's just because the price is right. Okay, cool. Got it. But why not wait for another few months? Why not do it next year? And then they'll sell themselves into why this needs to be done now. And that is the gold, because ultimately that's what's going to get them to pull the trigger when it comes to, buying the treatment plan that they've been postponing for so long, even if they know that is the right thing for them. I need to talk to my spouse. That's a foil. People a lot of times use that as a way to say what they mean without feeling bad for saying it. It's like spouse thinks it's too expensive, or spouse doesn't really understand it. If we dig in there, first of all, we want to confirm, do they know you're here? I assume they want you to feel your best. Yeah, but they're not going to get it. All right, cool. So it's not so much about spouse, but is it more about a money thing? And then they're like, what would you like to talk about? Can we get them on the phone now? Should we speak to them now? Oftentimes they'll just say, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. Do it now, okay? This really comes down to who you're speaking to as well. Like some personality types, the A-type personality types, they want to be independent and self-sustaining. And to those ones, this is handled slightly differently. They're fewer and far between in the women ideal customer profile. It's more with men, dealing with men, that you're going to encounter that a lot if you service men in your med spa. But let's leave that for now and let's keep moving. So with downtime, that's a very easy to handle. It's again about reframing what it actually is. It's like, yeah, sure, it's 2 weeks of downtime, but what's more important, that or the confidence that you're going to carry for years? Anchor it. It's worth it once you put it into the big picture. Pain and discomfort. Again, this is more about, is it really the pain, or do you just need a reassurance, the rapport with me as your service provider, that I'm going to look after you? Okay, and then this is what I was saying about fact type personalities, or people that are more like bubbly, rapport building. So very, very different conversations. With someone who's type A, you want to attack it straight with facts. How much it cost? When can I see results? I'm ready to make a decision now if the facts align with the other ones. You want to be matching their level. It's critical to know who they are and what they're like so you can match. And then how do we close? With this line, which is a tie down line. If I could build you a treatment plan that is going to give you the outcome that you said that you wanted, then, and if I could structure the finance to make it affordable for you, would price still be an issue? Okay, this is a proven framework. Again, it is crucial that in this space here, the outcome that you said you wanted, you have all the ammunition. This is the point of discovery. This is why you want to sit with them at the beginning and take them to the entire journey of how long has this been a problem? What is the problem specifically? What area are you looking to treat? What other area? Any other problems? What have you tried so far? What worked? What hasn't? Why now? Why not next year? Why not last year? What's been in the way so far? How does it feel to live with this thing every single day? The swiping on socials, the family and friends dating, or putting pressure on them for not doing it. Okay, you gotta get to that, because by the time you discover all of that, you can slot it in here, and then this hits differently. This hits in a personalized way where they really hear themselves in it. Now, a little disclaimer, this is a tie down, which means to tie down essentially means to tie down someone to the process, which means you're sold on the concept of it. This is what you want. This is when you want it. You're ready to go. You're tied down. It doesn't always work, in the sense that sometimes, even if they're tied down, if we get to the question of, yeah, it's just the money, I just do not have the money, you have to go through the downsells, to the payment options, payment plans. This is what we like to call them. Do not call them financing, just because there's a negative connotation there. And so be prepared to have that as well. So you have a higher ticket payment plan, then a lower ticket payment plan you can maybe close to, and then if neither of those work, then you could go into payments with financing, or into appointment wise, which is just like getting them in for the next appointment. What they pay maybe 50% of the next appointment, 50% from the previous one, and then that's how you get them coming recurrently to keep them in. Okay. Testimonials are what are going to cement the trust and get them to believe this. Practice makes it perfect, and obviously you have to treat it seriously. You have to practice it and recognize it in your team. If your team has never had training on this, if they are struggling with this, if you're struggling with it, if you don't even investigate the numbers like you should, if you don't know your upsells, your cost per appointment booked, your cost per patient show up, the average order value, the lifetime value, these things are important, because these are the unit economics of each additional patient that you sell. And if it makes sense for one, it makes sense for 1,000. And if you're generating the margin that you need on one, then at scale that multiplies and compounds. Why? Because your fixed costs, your overheads, they stay fixed, but then your variable expenses, your cost of goods and your service provider, those scale with the service. So they have to be factored in, they have to make sense. We'll work through numbers in another episode. And this is just a little summary. This is basically the 6-step layer. Own it, define it, pinpoint it, reframe it, prepare, and mastery. Own it. Take responsibility for how you handle it. It's okay if you haven't done it so far, but you do have to take ownership of the fact that the most asymmetric returns happen in selling. Define it. Is it real? Maybe it is. Treat objections like a complaint. So maybe it is a genuine objection, a real constraint. But you have to always dig deep to find out the deeper motive, to chunk down everything that's being said and understand what it really means and why it's a roadblock. Pinpoint it. Be specific. Did it happen early in the conversation? So for example, if you have someone that comes in and they're asking about the price in the first 5 seconds, maybe they're not the right customers, okay? You have to identify if you're really struggling with a lead quality issue. Reframe it. Accept and understand and expect objections. Prepare. Practice makes perfect. The thing is that this is just another habit to form. By the time you've done it the 20th, 30th time, it's going to sort of seep into your subconscious mind, and it's no longer going to feel like something you have to do actively. And that is such a beautiful moment. It's like the first time you drove the car without realizing that you have been driving for the last 10, 20 minutes. Your mind's trained, it's activating, it's firing, and it just becomes your new identity and your new skill set. And then obviously mastery. This is here's my personal experience with sales. I actually thought that I didn't like it. I thought that it wasn't my thing. Ended up absolutely loving it. It's probably the most important and fun topic for me right now. But there are other things that I actually have no desire in mastering, okay? When it comes to operations and building tech stack, and back-end reports and everything like that, that is not my thing. I do not like to get in there and to like tinker with things and build stuff. I like to use them as dashboards. I like to make strategic decisions. And so what I've done is I've outsourced that. So you do want to recognize if something's not your thing, just outsource it. But until you do, you do need to cover some of these bases yourself. And so I would say what you want to do is reframe it, because if you're not passionate about selling, but you're passionate about helping and serving, if you recognize they are the same thing, then that should enable you to get through it and actually do it until you can afford to get it delegated, elevated, and then you keep focusing on what you do best. Ultimately, you want to have a nice life. How you live your day is how you live your life, and you want to be able to do more of what you like to do and less of what you don't, less of what zaps and drains your energy. That's roughly the content of this entire podcast episode broken down. A little summary here. Just remember that it's not about the money. It's not about more marketing, more leads, bigger location. Oftentimes, it's just making the most with what you already have, being scrappy, being crafty, and really, really pushing the envelope of what you can do in order to show up for your clients as your best self, serve them, give them what they need, make it into a win-win. Remember and realize that what sets you apart is not technology, it's not location, it's not your menu, it's how you connect, how you bond with them, how you communicate, and how you guide your patients to show value. Some of our most successful Medspa partners are a type of personality, a vibrant, positive, upbeat type of personality that's just contagious. So when people come in, they're selling and they're buying just because they have this relationship with her, and she's so bought into what she's selling and she's so convinced by it that it's just impossible not to sort of have it rub on to you as well. And so bear that in mind, because a lot of times videos like these and training get a bit too tactical. They teach you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, etc., etc., etc. But ultimately, if the operating system, the software behind, is not aligned, if you don't understand the mentality and the mindset behind it that's conducive to it, it'll be like you're always trying to put it out there like you're driving a car with a handbrake on, and you don't want that, because that's going to create inauthenticity. Inauthenticity is feeling a certain way and trying to come across another way. And that's why you'll see me spend a lot of time on mindset and reframing beliefs, because when you take care of that, a lot of times everything else falls into place. I hope this works. Please practice and give us some feedback, because it helps me. It keeps me grounded and it makes me aware of what you guys would like to see more. And of course, if you want a pair of trained eyes on your sales consultation, on your scripts, if you have any, if you don't, if you want us to build some for you bespoke, well, medspapatients.com, we're at your disposal. And if not, then we'll see you in the next video. And until then, to your success.